are going to tie the Pearly Peter Ross. A Peter Ross classic wet fly from Scotland. One of the oldest, most traditional wet flies that we use when we're fishing for brown trout, sea trout or even salmon in the lochs. So we're going to tie this, as usual, on a size 10. This is the traditional Peter Ross. So the one we're going to tie today is a slight variation on the traditional fly. So we get our silk, as always, on the shank. Take it down to about there. Now we just trim that off, as always. And give it one little turn just to lock that in. Now for the tail, we use golden pheasant tippet. There we go. We just need to take about 4 or 5 pieces there, and we cut this off like so. Now one thing that I do with this, don't let it go when you have it like this. Lick your finger and thumb and give it a little twist, and it just helps to twist the fibres round so you don't end up with one side gold and one side not gold. I mean, if you look at the original feather, this side compared to this side, there's a big difference. So these tippets now are all on both sides the same colour. You tie this in nice and tight. You tie it in where the black piece of the tippet is. And there. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to tie in a rib. This is fine silver oval tinsel. Now just pop that down there to keep it out of the way. And tie this, as I always do with these materials, tie it to nearly the whole length of the shank just to keep it the uniform diameter on the hook. So these ones not touching, they're just loose, and then we just tighten it up all the way down. Now we're going to tie in the body. Now this is going to be pearl mylar tinsel. Now when we catch this in, we start at the top of the fly here. Catch it in and tie it down nice and tight. Now we're going to take this round once and twice. So now if I hold my hand here, you should see you've got a perfect little pearly body. Now we're going to put on some red dubbing. Suppose this is like a thorax really. Now this is called diamond dub. I get this in Austria. I really like this stuff. It's nice and easy. You don't even need wax for this stuff. You can just simply twist it on. So obviously you can wax it if you really want to, just for extra. Now we start bringing this around. And there we go. Just pull those last fibres back and tie it all down. So, I'll just trim off. There's one big long fibre, we're going to trim that down a bit. So there we've got his tail, you get the pearly body, and you've got the thorax on. Now we're going to take the rib. One second, just a couple of bits down here. Just a little. This fly you don't want to have it too. I mean, it can be messy-ish, but you don't want it too messy. But we start with the rib, and we bring it over the pearl body, and this just helps to secure it in. And then we bring it over the red. and up to the point of the silk. There. We're going to bring this over and just trap it in. Trim it off. Now we come to the wing of the fly. Now the wing was tied traditionally from teal flank. Now we're going to use teal flank feathers, but we're not going to do it the traditional way of cutting and folding. What I've done, I've taken 2 tips of 2 feathers here, and I've trimmed these down to size so they match. Now we're going to have one like this and one like this. So we've got on both sides on the outside the right colour. Now we're just going to push those tips together, match them up, and now you've got a nice strong wing on both sides. So what we're now going to do is just hold this over the fly. Now you want this roughly just to come not to the full length of the tail, just a little bit before. And when you catch this in, the secret is to take it over once and go loosely over. And once it's loose over and it's down, pull down hard. And keep your fingers there, holding the wing in. Now we're going to trim this off. And we're going to tie it in here. And here we go. That's your wing in now. So the next thing we're going to do, we are going to get some crystal flash. Now the crystal flash, you only want maybe 2 strands of this. And we're just going to put this over the wing. And you can use 4 strands. Don't go too heavy on this. I mean, I'm going to put in 2 on this one. And these should be on either side of the wing. And it just gives an extra flashy little effect on the fly when you're bringing it towards you. So we go round. And then we trim this off. Now that that's on, we need to finish with a hackle. Just pull those strands to the side here. For the hackle, we've got black hen hackle. Use just normal black hen hackle. Now tie this one in here. Nice and tight. You don't want this one to slip. Come on the side. And then we trim off. Now we take the hackle pliers and we just catch the point off the hackle and we start going round. As always, when you're putting these hackles on, bring the fibres back after each turn. It should be touching as it's going round. Touching and going forward all the time. Now that's enough. So we can bring our silk around the back of the hackle and trap it down and round again. And now we can trim this off. Then we're going to pull the fibres back and finish off the head. And now we have the Pearly Peter Ross. So we're going to whip finish the head. I get my whip finish tool. And bring it up and as you usually do, finish the fly off. And this is a great fly for the whole season. You can fish it equally as effectively in the start as you would in the end of the season. It's such a famous fly in Scotland for very good reason. So we'll just give this a quick varnish and just pull the fibres back as always. Slap it over the eye, cover that head so it cannot open up again. And then again, as always, we get the point of a hackle. We just pop that through the eye and give it a twist off. And that's the fly finished. So, the Pearly Peter Ross, fantastic wet fly for the whole season. Hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, keep it Wildside.